What's up, and welcome into Fantasy Baseball today on Tuesday, August 12th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White and Chris Towers. Today on the show, welcome back to Cristian Javier. We're going to rank some young hitters, and outside of Javier, it was kind of a rough night for pitching. Some big names that did not perform very well, so we will take a closer look at that. Chris, you were out in the big city of Montreal. How was it?
Lovely city. I'm trying not to be like big city New Yorker guy, and like every city that I go to that isn't like Tokyo, I'm like, oh, nice town, nice little town you guys got here. It's a lovely place. I had a great time. I am at the big age of 37, too old for bachelor parties. That is exhausting, man. It's like I'm happy. My buddy Brendan. Loved spending the weekend with him and his friend, but like we were at the airport, three of us who flew back to New York City, and we were like the Walking Dead. Like we did this like combat archery thing, which is basically like dodgeball but with arrows. It was very fun. You do it for like an hour. The arrows have like soft tips. We're not like, Legolas shooting orcs or anything. And man, just like doing that for an hour felt like I was going to die. I still feel like I might die. So yeah, it's a fun weekend.
Don't die, Chris.
Believe it or not, happy to be back. Happy to be back to my normal life.
All right, well, let's jump in.
Can you believe it? Wow.
All right, Scott, we'll start with you. The return of Cristian Javier. What did we see?
Yeah, this was pretty interesting. I thought my expectations were very low. He didn't look great on his rehab assignment. And prior to Tommy John's surgery, it's not like he was the Cristian Javier that we once knew, who was a borderline ace in fantasy. That was back in 2021 and especially 2022. But it had been a while since we saw that version of Javier. Like I said, not great on his rehab assignment. Not great in the first inning, gave up 2 runs right away, and I was thinking, okay, good thing I did not recommend starting using a 2-star Cristian Javier fresh off the IL. But then he pitched 4 scoreless innings after that. So if you're keeping track at home, that's 2 earned runs in 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits allowed. Solid stat line for his return. 10 swinging strikes on just 85 pitches. So that's a pretty nice rate. But I think maybe the most telling thing here is that his fastball was up nearly 2 miles per hour from when we last saw him pitch, 1.8 miles per hour, which brought it to an average velocity of 93.5, which is where it sat in 2021 and 2022, when again, Cristian Javier was a borderline ace in fantasy. And, it had great shape, induced vertical break, 19 inches. So it's like that was kind of what he lost that caused him to fall off the map, because it was a profile that was really dependent on having an elite fastball. And he showed signs of maybe regaining it here. He also threw a much firmer changeup. It was up like 4 miles per hour from when we last saw him. So that's interesting too. I'm not sure if that's going to be a big game changer or not for Javier, but mostly I was interested in the fastball and the way he pulled it together after that rough first inning. I think, I'm sure he's highly available in fantasy, and I think this start was enough, given Cristian Javier's history, that you might make a little play for him. See if he can be of some use down the stretch.
Also worth noting that Baseball Savant has Javier throwing a new sweeper instead of the slider that he had traditionally thrown. I think that's probably a categorization error.
I think so. I think they just reclassified the
because his slider always had a lot of sweeperish tendencies anyway. Ton of horizontal movement. The velocity was basic. Velocity and spin rate were basically the same. I'm assuming it's the same pitch, more or less. But when he was good, that was a really good pitch for him too. It had a 40% whiff rate in that 22 season. So yeah, I think it's definitely more encouraging than I expected based on how his rehab assignment had been going. I hadn't really taken Javier all that seriously, but now I think we should.
Yeah, he also threw a new sinker as well, according to StatCast, at 14% of the time here. So just mixing in a few different looks here where, in the past he was predominantly fastball slider. So, perhaps expanding the repertoire in his return here. And it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain this velocity. We see a lot of times, guys in their first start back, maybe they're amped up, the velocity's up, and then maybe it comes back a little bit. But pretty encouraging, successful debut here for Cristian Javier, who is 41% rostered on CBS, pretty widely available. Scott, towards the end of last week, we spoke a lot about Jacob Lopez. He had a great start on Thursday night. Who would you just take a shot? Who would you rather take a shot on right now? Jacob Lopez or Javier the rest of the way?
I am inclined to say Javier because prior to that 10 strikeout effort for Jacob Lopez, I'd kind of given up on Jacob Lopez, and he always seemed like a long shot, just because not traditional upbringing, I guess, to find a word to use. So yeah, I'm going to lean Javier here, but I may change my mind if Jacob Lopez goes out and dominates the Rays when he pitches against them this week.
All right, Chris, over to you for your player of the night.
I will go with Zebby Matthews, who kind of just continued to do Zebby Matthews things in this start. 9 strikeouts to 1 walk. That's pretty much what we're accustomed to seeing from Zebby Matthews. And he also gave up 3 home runs in this start. Now, it was only 3 solo home runs, so he almost got the quality start. But I just continue to think that Zebby Matthews is one of the more interesting and talented young pitchers in baseball right now. And it just comes down to, I don't think he's got a 445 expected WOBA on contact since making his debut. And for some context, Matt Olson and Bryce Harper have 444 xWOBAs on contact this season. Turning every hitter you see into Matt Olson and Bryce Harper is bad. Just getting that out there, that's a really bad thing to do. You should not do that if you want to have success as a major league pitcher. But that is, quality of contact metrics are so noisy for pitchers. It takes 2 years to have a really good sense of who is and isn't good. I think it's fair to say he's not good. I don't think Zebby Matthews is going to be, a Kyle Hendricks when it comes
in terms of contact quality,
suppressing quality of contact. Yeah. But like Tarek Skubal, I believe, has the worst single season in the past 5 in terms of quality of contact allowed back in 2021. Now, he's remade himself as a pitcher, but that's just to show that in 2021, Tarek Skubal had a 454 expected WOBA on contact. The next year, before his big breakout, before he was really good, he was at 346. These things can flip really quickly. I wrote for the FBT newsletter just kind of about how like FIP is so antiquated in that it assumes pitchers basically have no control over the quality of contact they give up. That's not right, but it's not 100% wrong either. Pitchers, quality of contact for pitchers is very noisy. Bet on strikeouts, bet on elite walk rates, and that's what Zebby Matthews has. His 21.2% career K- walk rate would be the 6th best in baseball this season, I think just behind Joe Ryan and just ahead of Nathan Eovaldi. Joe Ryan is a guy who had 1.8 home runs per 9 in 2023. It's 1.14 over the past 2 seasons, and suddenly he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I could see a Joe Ryan type of run for Zebby Matthews. I think the upside is that high, and I want to bet on that upside. So it wasn't an amazing start for Zebby Matthews, and he has been mostly bad for fantasy especially, but I still think this guy is super talented, and I still think that talent is worth betting on.
I mean, you get a 9 strikeout start.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I had him as how high was he in my sleeper pitcher rankings this week? He was up there. And I was counting this one as a win. He didn't technically win the start, but like it was a good enough start that from a sleeper pitcher that I was happy that I recommended Zebby Matthews. I will point out that he did He did double his changeup use. It was up 1 mile per hour, and it just seemed to play much better than we've seen that pitch in the past. So a lot of his whiffs in the past have come from the slider. But in this particular start, kind of broadening out his arsenal, he got at least 3 whiffs on 4 different pitches. So we're seeing already Zebby Matthews, I think, mature into a more complete pitcher just a few starts into his career. I'm with you. I think the upside is huge here.
I'll join you guys in remaining intrigued here in Zebby Matthews. And Chris, I know you bring this up about a few other pitchers. I think like George Kirby is the most obvious example. It just feels to me like Zebby Matthews maybe throws too many strikes. His zone percentage entering the start was 54%, league average 48.8%. So, look, we love K- walk rate, but also if you're throwing too many strikes, I mean, you could be prone to giving up some hard contact and obviously some home runs and things like that. So that's something that stood out to me. I don't know if maybe he needs to live on the edges more or even just like consciously throw more balls, or
just be willing to let batters go, He gives me a little bit of Spencer Schwellenbach vibes. I don't think he's that good. Schwellenbach figured it out a lot quicker than Zebby Matthews did, but it's a lot of similar building blocks. Maybe not quite as deep of an arsenal of swing and miss pitches, but a lot to like about Zebby Matthews.
Well, let's rank the 3. Zebby Matthews, Cristian Javier, and Jacob Lopez.
I would go Matthews, Javier, Lopez.
I agree.
All right, my player of the night, Colson Montgomery, but we'll get to him in just a little bit. I want to keep things moving here. Big thanks to those watching live on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's take a break, and we will be back right after this.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me.
You're just like your old man.
I am not like you at all.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. We did get some pretty big news here on Monday night. Josh Hader was bypassed for a save, and then it came out that he's dealing with left shoulder soreness. So he last pitched on Friday. He threw 36 pitches over 2 innings in that appearance. He's thrown 32-plus pitches in an outing 3 different times since July 8th. So they have really been kind of working Josh Hader, and that pitch count, those pitch counts have been driving up there pretty high for Josh Hader. Lefty Bennett Sousa got the final out for his 4th save in this game here. Brian Abreu was not available because he recorded 5 outs on Sunday. But if anything does happen to Hader here, he's going for testing. We'll learn more, in the next day or two. My guess is it would be Brian Abreu, who is next up. He is 28% rostered.
Yeah, and that's like he's been one of the best 8th inning guys for about 4 years now. He's got 13K per 9 this year, ERA under 2.3 the last 4 years.
He's got like a 2.20 ERA total over the past 4 seasons. He's been one of the best relievers in baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic. The one hesitation is that I'm looking at the pecking order in their bullpen, and he is among their highest leverage guys. It's him and a bunch of lefties. So, like, would they want to lose the versatility of the righty there by confining him to the closer role? I guess it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world if they played matchups more at the end of games, particularly if this ends up being minor severity for Hader.
Yeah.
Like,
we just got to get through a couple of weeks. Yeah.
A minimum IL stint. I think he will go on the IL because they're talking about him getting tests to determine the severity. And usually if you take it that far, it's at least an IL stint. And obviously it could be potentially a lengthy one. So yeah, I think Brian Abreu is definitely the guy to invest in here. And if it does end up being him, I mean, excitement level is similar to Cade Smith and Randy Rodriguez. In fact, it might be even higher than those two if we find out that Abreu is like firmly in the role.
Agreed.
Couple of shallow league replacements there. Again, if Hader does go on the IL, Cade Smith, who's right around 73% roster, David Bednar at 72%. He closed out the Yankees win here on Monday, 4-run lead kind of looks like he is stepping into that closer role as well. Randy Rodriguez, who we spoke about a lot around the trade deadline. And then some deep league names, if you're looking at saves, obviously Brian Abreu, who we mentioned, but Jose Ferrer, we have him. Phil Maton, who picked up a win here on Monday night. He kind of looks like he's stepping in as the Rangers closer as well. So there's a good amount available right now if you are in need of saves in fantasy. Bobby Witt Jr. was back in the lineup after missing Sunday with back stiffness. Aaron Judge will not play the outfield in this current series against the Twins. Giancarlo Stanton did get the start in right field on Monday, and he homered once again. Yordan Alvarez took live batting practice on the field Saturday. It's a small step forward. We're still waiting for some type of timeline to be announced here for Alvarez. Cole Reagans will throw a bullpen on Tuesday, his first time throwing off a mound since going on the IL with a rotator cuff strain back in early June. Byron Buxton was reinstated on Monday, and he returned with his 24th homer of the season. Terry Francona said he met with Chase Burns on Monday to discuss how to handle workload restrictions with Chase Burns down the stretch. He's up to 103rd innings this season after throwing an even 100 last year at Wake Forest. He didn't throw anything in the minors last season, so he can probably get up around like 125, 130, and maybe they want to cap it around there. Are you guys still holding on to Chase Burns even with the workload restriction?
Yeah, I mean, the upside is so high. We saw him get 10 strikeouts in his last game.
It's 4 straight starts if we throw out the one that was waterlogged.
4 straight with double-digit strike. Yeah, I mean, like it's...
I don't know if anybody's done that this season.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the first time like he made history, having that many double-digit strikeout outings in his first 8 or 9 starts.
Quietly, very quietly making history. Yeah. Because I think, did Skeens even have that many in his entire rookie season?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So anyway, yeah, tons of upside here. You got to be aware of it. You know, I actually, by the time you're listening to this, it may be up on the site. I'm going to highlight some pitchers who I think may be coming up against workload restrictions. And of course, Chase Burns is on that list. I don't know that you could sell high on him really, since the ERA is inflated. I don't know. I mean, maybe if he goes out and has another great start next time, you can. I think you just enjoy it for however long it lasts. There may be a natural restriction here with Hunter Green coming back from the IL this week and Nick Lodolo soon to follow. Unless they're going to kick both Nick Martinez and Brady Singer out of the rotation, then I imagine it's going to be Chase Burns who is put off to the side for a while. But you know, any injury could change that, and so it may be a situation where they pull back on him, have him skip a turn here and there because the rotation's full. Maybe a 2-inning relief appearance at some point. But that doesn't mean he's permanently out of the rotation and he's going to be of no use in fantasy anymore. I think you should absolutely continue to hold Burns despite the innings concerns.
The Brewers haven't decided yet whether Jacob Misiorowski will make a rehab start before being activated from the IL. Shane McClanahan underwent a surgical procedure to try and address the lingering nerve issue in his left arm, ending any chance of him returning here in 2025.
Always felt like we were heading this direction, unfortunately.
Yeah, he wound up making 0 starts in the majors this season, and it's been quite a while since we've seen Shane O'Mac.
By the way, the last time a pitcher 22 or age 22 or younger had more double-digit strikeout starts in a season than Chase Burns was Scott Kazmir back in 2006.
Jeez.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Rookies were allowed to throw a lot more innings then, too.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, he's only made 9 starts?
I think I saw some quotes from Mitch Keller was opposing Chase Burns over the weekend, and he said he found himself coming to the top of the dugout to watch Chase Burns pitch. That's kind of crazy. I mean, you don't hear other pitchers saying stuff like that, so it's.
I'm just saying, I've gotten a little bit of pushback for the Chase Burns might be more talented than Jacob Misiorowski take.
Who's pushing back on you, Chris?
The book is not written yet.
Who's
commenters
pushing back? I mean, Chase Burns came up. He was the top pitching prospect in baseball. Like, I think you're.
But that was weeks ago, Scott.
I think the pushback you're getting is from a minority, a vocal minority, rather than
that was
the
weeks
majority.
ago.
Yeah, no,
We're
not that
totally different people.
yeah.
Tanner Scott could be cleared to face live hitters at some point next week. Jack Caglione is scheduled to begin his rehab assignment at AAA on Tuesday. Grayson Rodriguez underwent successful right elbow debridement to remove a bone spur on Monday. He's officially done for the season and hopes to be ready to throw off a mound early in the offseason. Lars Nootbaar left Monday with a bruised left knee. Evan Carter took batting practice on Monday and could begin a rehab assignment as soon as Tuesday. The Rays recalled outfield prospect Everson Pereira. They acquired him from the Yankees in the Jose Caballero trade. And this season in the minors, hit 21 home runs, 9 steals, 868 OPS. Really good average exit velocities. Well, just exit velocities in general. Any deep league interest in Everson Pereira?
Not a lot. Not a lot. He has improved the strikeout numbers at AAA this year, but once we've already seen failure at the major league level from a prospect, particularly a guy who's not like the highest end prospect, I think there's understandably a lot of skepticism that comes with the return trip, and there's just no rush to make a move. We'll see how it goes with Everson Pereira.
I think it's just, he give us a reason to add you first, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Chase Dollander, who was a better prospect, but just like him getting promoted today, it's like, we got to see something before we go out and add you once you've already failed, I think.
Mm-hmm. Pereira, by the way, did start here on Monday. It was against the lefty. He went 2 for 5 with a double and a run scored. He had 2 strikeouts. My guess is, considering he's a right-handed bat for the Rays, probably only going to play against left-handed pitching to start his career there. But we'll see. Maybe his role can expand. And we have some prospects who were recently moved up from AA to AAA in the past few days. Blue Jays pitcher Trey Savage and Mets prospects Jet Williams, Jonah Tong, Carson Benj, and Ryan Clifford. So look, once a prospect is in AAA, you could be a really good week or two away from, getting the call up to the majors. So just wanted to mention some names who perhaps we could see in September. Or
Carson Benj, I mean, he had his believers coming into the year, but he went bananas at AA. And I think Carson Benj is quickly emerging as a top 25 type overall prospect. Provided I guess this late in the season, we can probably assume he'll retain rookie eligibility for next year, even if he does get a look in the majors.
It's like 3 more days, I think, before the rookie deadline passes anyway. So, I
think it's a little different team to team, but yeah, I know it's coming up.
It's just 45 days to the end of the season, I think. These guys are all going to beat Bubba Chandler to the majors.
Yeah.
Yeah. August 15th, I think we were talking about Samuel Basayo last week, Scott, and you said August 15th was kind of marked as
I was thinking games, but I think Chris is right that
it's 45. So I believe August 15th, if a player has no major league service time, August 15th, they can get called up. I wrote about this for yesterday's FBT newsletter. It's on the site.
Now, they're still, with 45 days left, they might have to limit at bat some because you could also lose rookie eligibility by exceeding 130 at bats.
But the Orioles have done they did this before with Gunnar Henderson, so I think they're well versed. So
Samuel Basayo not likely to lead off for the Orioles is what you're saying.
I don't think so. Or likely to, I don't know, somewhere in the bottom. We'll see. Ranking waiver wire hitters and some young names here, some exciting names. Colson Montgomery homered again, his 10th home run in just 32 games. He now has an 876 OPS, and he is top 12 in ISO since being called up on July 4th. That is better than Cal Raleigh, Vlad Jr., Pete Alonso. So, I mean, the man is hitting for power right now.
Which is how you know it's not going to continue, right? Like, this is his 162 game pace as of yesterday was 47 home runs. I'm guessing it's over 50 now with another home run in another day. He hasn't done really anything else And so, like, when his home run pace normalizes, not to say Colson Montgomery isn't a good power hitter. He is. I mean, the peak exit velocities, we saw that one Sunday, like 115 mile per hour home run. Like, the guy can hit the ball really hard. But there just aren't that many players in all the majors, like, who can sustain that kind of home run pace. And so what is left for Colson Montgomery once he inevitably cools on the home runs? And I'm not sure. I mean, the strikeout rate is around 28%, maybe a little higher now since he struck out twice Monday. I think he's talented. I think you're fine using him in roto leagues where you have all those hitter spots to fill, but there will come a point where you'll probably need to bench him because he'll cool off, and it might not go well at that point.
So you're saying in this case, he's the kid who only hit homers, but that's a derogatory title in Colson Montgomery's case.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, that's the Matt Christopher book, right?
Yeah.
Was that like considered a good thing in the Matt Christopher book? I want to say it wasn't.
I've never. I only know of it because you reference it before, so I just wanted to reference it for you. I even looked up maybe his real name is Sylvester Codmeyer. That's the kid who only hit homers.
That was him. I gotta say, I read a few Matt Christopher books in my day. They never really resonated. Matt Christopher, a little overrated. Gotta say.
I didn't know we were rating him.
A little overrated.
Well, if you're listening out there, Matt, I hope you remain a listener.
God, wouldn't that be crushing if he was?
Oh my gosh.
You're just an author.
We love you, man. We love you. But
you don't mean that.
I never read his book.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you guys rank Colson Montgomery among the other young bats that we were so excited about this weekend, or the past week?
So I actually wrote what I thought was a pretty cool little article about the 5 surprising rookie hitters, most of them being recent call-ups, and I rated them all according to their utility for 5x5 scoring, their utility for point scoring, and my confidence in their legitimacy, because I feel like it's a trade-off between those two, right? Like, how helpful is this guy going to be if he is legitimate? And how confident am I that he's legitimate? Like, because a lot of times with legitimacy, we're just guessing, right? So, you're willing to take a bigger risk on a guy who can be impactful. And so Colson Montgomery, questions about legitimacy, but I think also questions about utility, especially for points leagues because of how much he strikes out. So I would say, weighing those two factors, how legitimate they are, how useful they're going to be if they are legitimate, I put at the top of the list Luke Keeschel and
Agreed.
Jacob Marcy, 1 and 2, in kind of a separate tier. I have Isaac Collins in the column too. He's the one who's been around pretty much all year, certainly been an everyday player since about mid-June. So Isaac Collins, I would rank 3rd behind those two, and then Colson Montgomery, and then Warming Bernabel. I don't know if there's other rookie hitters you want me to consider, but that's how I ranked them in the article.
I do enjoy your use of baseball emojis in the article too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a baseball writer,
Look at that.
Unfortunately, by the way, Matt Christopher passed away 28 years ago, so he is unlikely to be listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I had a feeling.
Let's keep things moving here. The Yankees blasted 4 homers here, but want to focus on Ben Rice, who went 2 for 4 with his 17th home run, 113.5 exit velocity, 415 feet. And all of a sudden, he has started 6 straight games and 11 of 13. Some of that did happen when Aaron Judge was on the IL, but Judge has been back for a week now, and Ben Rice is still playing a lot. Austin Wells has sat 2 of the past 3 days, and he is in a crazy funk right now. So he is, kind of losing out on some playing time here. They're playing Ben Rice more a catcher as well. So 72% rostered. the young hitters, young exciting bats here. You like Ben Rice or Drake Baldwin more?
Did you guys talk about Ozuna playing a lot more lately?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Yeah.
Yes. Baldwin. I like Baldwin more. I think Ben Rice has a bright future, and you look at his StatCast page. It's kind of a head scratcher why he hasn't been more productive. Obviously, he got off to a hot start, but it's been a few months of really marginal production, and the playing time hasn't been that bad, really. Certainly by the standards of somebody who's catcher eligible. His expected batting average is 90th percentile. His expected slug is 95th percentile. And that's with a great pull air rate, good plate discipline. Like Ben Rice should be cooking, and for whatever reason, he's not. I think it's in his future, but we've seen a lot more from Drake Baldwin, I feel like, this year. And even with the interferences of Ozuna preventing Baldwin and Sean Murphy both from playing every day, I think Baldwin is opening up a gap on Sean Murphy in terms of playing time. So I see him as must start across the board.
All right. Some deep league corner infielders here. Josh Bell has been hitting better over the past month or so. He went 1 for 4 with his 15th homer. Last 37 games, he's batting .325, only 6 homers, but an OPS over 950 during that time. And Tyler Locklear, 2 for 5 with his second home run. He has played 10 games with the D-backs so far, hitting 189 with 2 homers, 653 OPS, and a 35% strikeout rate. So, going to throw a few more names in here. CJ Kayfus came up recently for the Guardians. He's been hitting pretty well. Ryan Mountcastle is back for the Orioles as well. How would you guys rank Locklear, Kayfus, Mountcastle, and Josh Bell, some deep league corner guys?
I think I would go. I kind of want to just go with the young guys and just take the mystery box element, but like it's not like Locklear's been great. He's striking out a ton. Kayfus, I just don't have a lot of faith in it. I'm almost inclined to go Bell, Mountcastle, and then the young guys, but Josh Bell, he's never a mid 700s OPS bat, right? He finishes every season as a mid 700s OPS bat, but it's 2 months of a 600 OPS and then 3 months of an 850 or 900 OPS. And it's like, he's never what his season long numbers look like. But right now he's hot. We know that Josh Bell is a super productive hitter when he's hot. So I think all 4 are very similar. If you want to take the flyer on the young guys, that's fine. But I also just think we know when Bell is hot, he's really good. We're assuming Tyler Locklear and CJ Kayfus can get there, but that hasn't happened yet. So in this case, there's kind of a mystery box element to all of them. And you might as well take the one that's a little less mysterious, I guess.
Does Mountcastle, he hit the long home run in his first game back. Is that his only hit since returning? No, he's 2 for 10.
Yeah, it's only 3 games, right?
Yeah. So, doesn't really tell us anything, but I just bring it up from the perspective of what kind of urgency is there to add Mountcastle. Doesn't seem like there's much urgency. So I get your, like, Bell is the least exciting to me, but I get what you're saying, and he does seem to look .337 in his last 29 games. Exit velocity's up during that time, line drive rate up during that time. Like, it's backed up by the underlying data. So maybe it is best just to go with the hot hand here. Of the young guys, I prefer Locklear because of the speed element. Remember, he had 2 attempted steals in his first game. Looks like none since then, but he had 18 steals at AAA prior to his promotion. So that seems like it could be part of Locklear's game, but obviously still a mystery box at this point.
One name I wanted to ask you guys about as a potential drop is Austin Hayes. He was out of the lineup for the second time in 3 games. He has been struggling mightily. Last 20 games, hitting 162, 0 homers, a 438 OPS, lots of ground balls, a 25% strikeout rate, which isn't terrible, but how do you guys feel about Austin Hayes? He's still 48% rostered.
It's been bad. And the underlying numbers all of a sudden look really bad. 305 OPS over the past 250 plate appearances. If you just go to the last 50, it's 219 ex-WOBA. That's horrendous. So, yeah, I think Hayes is droppable. It's not unreasonable for him to be losing playing time. They've got to find room for Noelvi Marte in the outfield, and disappointing, but yeah, I think we're there.
All right, let's take our final break. When we return, I've got a few waiver wire pitchers, some other rough outings, man. It's like Logan Webb and Yamamoto. We'll talk about it right after this.
I wasn't ready to die.
The wait is over.
I need to know what happened.
Discover the mystery everyone's been talking about. School Spirits. Every episode of all seasons now streaming on Paramount+.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball. Today I have two very shallow waiver wire pitchers here. Will Warren, quality start against the Twins, 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs with 7 strikeouts to 0 walks. Last 7 starts, it's a 2.84 ERA, 124 WHIP. Obviously, WHIP is on the high side there. And Jose Soriano, a great bounce back start against the Dodgers, 6 shutout with 6 strikeouts. Both are between 75 and 80% rostered, so it's probably 10-team league stuff we're talking about here. But who do you like more between Soriano and Will Warren?
I like Soriano more. I think Soriano is good as long as he stays out of his own way, basically. I think he beats himself, and he beats himself with enough regularity that he's kind of a fringy fantasy option. We saw him get throttled last time out against the Phillies, but that was like the one bad start in his last, how many is it? 6 now, I think. Best ground ball pitcher in baseball, throws very hard. I'd like to see him work in the splitter a little more, I think, to give him more looks, but a lot of it's just throwing strikes, which he didn't actually do at a great rate in this start. So, it's not everything, but it would help. Will Warren has the interesting fastball. I kind of liked that in his previous start. He was featuring it more than ever, 54%, but got back to normal use on the 4-seamer in this one, 33%. I don't know that the secondary arsenal is good. Like, obviously got a good result against a depleted Twins lineup, but I don't know that he's really landed on his best method of attack here, even though I do see some skills for Will Warren.
Yeah, my takeaway on Will Warren is he's not bad. He's certainly not hopeless. I actually think he's over rostered at 79% though.
Yeah.
I actually don't quite get it. Like, I know the last, 3 weeks have been pretty good for him, but it's also been a much lower strikeout rate and still pretty bad control. Like the last 7 starts, he's got a 2.84 ERA. That's great. Well, it's 33 strikeouts over 38 innings and a 124 WHIP. It's not a 124 WHIP's not bad, but it's not helping you much either.
No, it's not helping you at all.
And so and for the season, it's a 4.34 ERA and a 137 WHIP. So it's I just find him largely uninspiring more than anything.
Part of why the roster rate's so high is he was a two-start pitcher with good matchups. In fact, both Soriano and Will Warren were among my sleeper pitchers this week. So far, so good as far as those go.
All right. Any interest in these veteran pitchers? Yu Darvish was great at the Giants. 6 innings of 1-run ball with 6 strikeouts, had 15 whiffs on 84 pitches, and completely changed his pitch mix in this one, just doing the Darvish tinkering thing that he very often does. Chris Paddock, go ahead.
But you know what I've noticed with Darvish, and it's always such a headache to try and look at Darvish's pitch selection from start to start and compare it to the season rates to see what he's changed. But I actually did notice a change here. So obviously he's had 2 really good starts now, not in a row, but he's had 2 really good starts this season with 1 bad start in between. His two really good starts were his highest four-seam use of the season. It was 15% in the first one, 30% in this one. And for the year, he's throwing it less than 10% of the time. Maybe over it now that he just had a 30% game, but I hope that means he's kind of narrowing down, because we've seen stretches like this from Darvish in the past where he's got that huge arsenal and he doesn't seem to know which pitch to feature more at which time. I'm hoping he's like zeroing in on that four-seamer, and that maybe we'll get more consistency from him moving forward.
Yeah, I saw an Eno Saris tweet. This is the highest percentage of fastballs, four-seamer and sinker, because he also threw the sinker 27% of the time. The highest percentage of fastballs by Yu Darvish in a start since 2018. So that's a pretty long time.
How was he in 2018? Was that the Cubs year?
That is not a question I can answer off the top of my head.
Yeah. 2018
was
his first year with the Cubs, and he was terrible. So it
wasn't the worst season of his career.
All right, then.
He was with the Cubs for 3 years. He was with the Cubs for 3 years.
Yeah.
The last year being 2020, when he was the runner-up for Cy Young. And who was he runner-up to?
Yeah, he had that huge run in 2019 in the second half, and then carried it over in 2020. Yeah,
runner-up.
See, we can remember things.
Trevor Bauer, I believe.
That sounds right. Yes.
Two other vet pitchers here. Chris Paddock, solid outing at the White Sox, 5 2/3 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. He's made 3 starts with the Tigers, 2 good and 1 bad. And Jose Quintana turned in a quality start against the Pirates, 6 innings, 1 run, 3 strikeouts, 10 hard hits in this one. Jose Quintana kind of defies everything that we look at a pitcher outside of just he has veteran guile and he knows how to, just pitch deep into starts and keep runs off the board. But I'm assuming you guys like Darvish the most of these 3. Darvish, Quintana, and Paddock.
Not to keep tooting my own horn, but Paddock and Quintana were sleeper pitchers too. Man.
I mean,
this is like the best week of the year.
In both of those cases, they're 2-star pitchers. I can't imagine a league where you didn't add them for the 2 starts where you'd want them moving forward.
Yeah, that's probably true. And they're only about 50% rostered.
Yeah, that's Paddock and Quintana, right?
Yeah.
Would you guys take Darvish over any of the names up top? The Zebby, Jacob Lopez, and Cristian Javier?
No. Would not be surprised if Yu Darvish was better than Will Warren the rest of the way, though.
You know what I'd do? I'd wait to see how Jacob Lopez's start goes this week.
Sure.
And if he turns back into a pumpkin after the 10 strikeout game, drop him for Darvish.
All right. Some deep league names here. Taijuan Walker, solid start. Chase Dollander was okay in his return to the Rockies. And Cade Cavalli, just wanted to mention, not nearly as good his second time out here against the Royals. 4 runs allowed over 5 innings and did not generate nearly as many whiffs. Anything to add on those deep league names? Taijuan Walker, Dollander, and Cavalli.
I was moderately intrigued when they announced that Dollander was being called back up, but then I looked at what he had done in AAA since getting sent down, and I think it was 9 walks to 11 strikeouts in 12 innings over 3 starts. It was horrible. So it was good to see him not pitch poorly today. But yeah, I still think clearly a super talented pitcher, Chase Dollander, but he's got a lot of work to do on his approach, and I'm not sure that the Rockies are the team I want to bet on figuring that out.
I wanted to follow up on Cade Cavalli since I think he was somebody we led off the show with last week when he returned. And he missed a lot of bats in that start. The velocity was way up on his fastball, like 1.5 miles per hour. And I wondered if it was a Mick Abel situation where he was just really worked up for, in this case, Cavalli's return to the second major league start, but after a couple of years away for injury. Well, the fastball was up again. In fact, it was up more like 2 miles per hour from where we saw it in the minors this year and in his previous stint in the majors. But the result was a lot worse. So I'm not sure there's enough to get excited about here for Cavalli, but that's where things currently stand. Still throwing harder than we expected, but not getting the results to make it worthwhile.
I think the stuff is okay. I think it was command in this one. He didn't have a single strike on his sinker, called or swinging, through 16 of them. Only 25% in the zone. Overall zone rate was only 45%. I think there's clearly talent here with Cade Cavalli. It was worth adding him after the first start just because it was relatively impressive, but not a must-roster pitcher by any means.
Bit of a rough night for pitching here. We'll quickly run through some of these names. First up, Garrett Crochet got knocked around in Houston. 4 innings, 5 runs, 5 strikeouts to 1 walk. Just his 4th start with more than 2 earned runs all season in 24 outings. So obviously he's been elite. Any concern here from Garrett Crochet?
Not because he had a bad start, but he's now exceeded the innings he threw last year, and he's got like 8 or 9 starts to go if he stays on a regular turn for a team that's fighting for a playoff spot.
And it's worth noting he had never, like, last year he threw 70 more innings than he ever had in a season. So yeah, that's we just don't know what it's going to look like for Garrett Crochet. I assume he's still going to be awesome. I'm still ranking him as a top 5 pitcher the rest of the way, but
sure, it's
totally uncharted territory for him.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto had a rough outing at the Angels. 6 earned runs over 4 2/3. He walked 5 through 61% of his pitches for strikes. Just the combination of walks and hard contact, a disaster here for Yamamoto, who actually was pitching well before this. Last 4 starts, 1.46 ERA and a .93 WHIP. Any concern on Yamamoto?
No, I mean, the poor control was uncharacteristic, and I don't think there's any reason to believe it's going to be a long-standing issue. You understand why it ruined his stat line this time out, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. You know, he's about 40 innings, 35 innings higher than last year's mark too, because he missed so much of last year with injury, but he had a couple 193 inning seasons in Japan, so I don't really think workload is something we need to worry about with Yamamoto.
Next up is Logan Webb, who allowed 4 runs over 6 1/3 innings here. Not a completely awful outing, but just the whip, man. Just the whip every time I notice, because I have Logan Webb in lots of leagues, and he now has, over his last 9 starts, a 153 whip, and it's lots of hard contact, line drives. His BABIP is around 400 during that stretch. So the strikeouts were great last 2 outings before this one, but the whip has been bad for almost like a third of the season.
It just seems like his sweeper isn't playing well, because even in the back-to-back double-digit strikeout efforts, Webb just got 1 swinging strike on his sweeper in each of those starts. And so, like, the changeup was great, and so when the changeup's great, he's great. But if he seems to have lost the sweeper, and that doesn't mean he won't gain it back in time to finish strong. But I think that's what's going on with Logan Webb, and it makes him a little less appealing. I still would have a hard time sitting him in any league, I think.
It's also worth noting he had 1 earned run allowed heading into the 7th inning. I'm not sure how many of the hits against him came, but it wasn't. I don't think it was like, I was watching the game, it wasn't a home run. I don't think it was like a
Freddie Fermin had a 2-run homer off of him.
Oh, it was a home run. Okay. So it was okay.
But no, you're right. Like, he was kind of cruising until the 5th or 6th inning, and then it just kind of crumbled on him.
Yeah, it was 1 earned run in the 6th and then 3 more in the 7th.
The Padres are kind of a tough matchup too for him, just because while the strikeouts were better in his last 2 starts, that was against the Pirates. The Padres don't strike out at all. So it's just kind of a tough matchup there for Logan Webb. Surprisingly, both Ryan Nelson and Nathan Eovaldi had rough starts against each other. Nelson, 5 earned runs over 5 1/3, just leaned all the way into his fastball, threw it 84% of the time this one.
Man. What are you doing? What are you doing, Ryan Nelson? 60%. Push 70%, but 83, way too much.
He had 13
too close to the sun.
But yeah, it's look, his slider is actually a pretty good pitch. I don't know why he doesn't throw it more. So
remains because if he throws his fastball less than 60% of the time, he gets crushed. apparently when he throws his fastball more than 80% of the time, he also gets crushed.
Yeah,
So.
this just all highlights why, as good as he's been for relatively long, I still have so much trouble getting excited about Ryan Nelson. It's just, it is so hard to succeed on this many four-seamers. And I just feel like even if it's a very good pitch, at some point it's going to catch up to him. And maybe I'm being unfair to him. I know it's basically been a full year of Ryan Nelson pitching at like a mid-3s ERA or better, but I've never had a lot of faith in it, I would say.
All right, and Nathan Eovaldi, 5 earned runs over 5 innings here, 3 homers allowed. It was his first time that he allowed more than 3 earned runs all season. That's over a 20-start stretch here for Eovaldi. Anything to add with him?
I mean, he had like a 101 ERA in his first 7 starts back from that elbow inflammation, so I'll give him a pass for this one.
All right. Hey, real quick, hitter edition. Want to mention some names here. Jazz Chisholm, 1 for 3 with a sock into shoe. His 20th home run, his 15th steal, but he was struggling before this previous 25 games. 204 batting average, 572 OPS, 28% strikeout rate, and just pretty bad quality of contact. Any concerns over Jazz Chisholm? I kind of feel like this is who he is. He's kind of a streaky player.
Yeah, real quick, this is who Jazz Chisholm is.
Fair enough. James Wood showing signs of breaking out of his funk here. I know he was bad for the past month, but it's now 3 straight multi-hit games and has hit leadoff in 4 straight. So perhaps some good signs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think he's fine. I was never worried, and I remain unworried.
Roman Anthony, 2 for 5 with his 3rd home run of the season. He's doing so much well right now. Good eye at the plate, hits the ball extremely hard. The final step here, and I think it could take some time, is launch angle optimization, because he has a 54% ground ball rate, and that is basically what has held back the power so far for Roman Anthony.
Yeah. Can't really put it any different way than that. You said it.
All right. Well, what about Alex Bregman?
I just will add, it's like James Wood last year. The fact that Roman Anthony is this good and holding his own this well, despite being super unoptimized for power, says a lot about the quality of his skill set. It also is worth pointing out that James Wood hasn't exactly figured that out this season. He's managed to be very good in spite of it, but he's still leaving some crumbs on the table, maybe bigger than crumbs. And so that's just to say that Roman Anthony may do the same thing. Roman Anthony may not make the big leap next season, or he might be a first rounder. I think that's all within the realm of possibility.
Alex Bregman, welcome back to Houston. His first time back in a Red Sox uniform. 2 for 4 with his 15th homer. And in 23 games since coming off the IL, he's hitting .305 with 4 home runs and an OPS over 850. So he hasn't been as good as earlier in the season, but he's still been pretty good. That's Alex Bregman. Zach Neto continues to produce. 3 for 3 with a double dong. He's up to 19 homers, 21 steals in just 100 games. I just wanted to give him some love here because 64th overall player in Roto for Zach Neto. He missed like the first month of the season, and 3.1 fantasy points per game entering Monday. That was better than Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager, O'Neal Cruz, and Mookie Betts. So just
I've moved him ahead of 2 of those in my rest of season rankings. Cruz and Betts.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, it's not just that he's been better, like the production's been better. He's also just, the underlying data is better across the board. His plate discipline's still very bad, but he's overcoming it with just excellent quality of contact this season, in a way that just keeps getting better every season. So, yeah, I don't think there's too much to be skeptical about here.
I've also moved Bo Bichette and Jeremy Pena ahead of Cruz and Betts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Betts has been struggling for a while, and O'Neal Cruz, I mean, the strikeout rate is just untenable for him, so that has been a pretty big problem there. Shea Bangaliers continues to rake. Had another home run here on Monday. 33 games since coming off the IL. He's hitting .338 with 14 home runs and an OPS over 1050. His teammate, Tyler Soderstrom, also doing his thing lately. Hit his 22nd home run. Last 30 games for Soderstrom, hitting 290 with 8 home runs and a 940 OPS. Anything on Langoliers or Soderstrom?
Man, Langoliers is going to finish with a higher OPS than Matt Olson this year, isn't he? It's looking that way.
You guys lost the trade.
Seems like a chance.
Yeah. I mean, lost the Sean Murphy trade, lost the Matt Olson trade.
Olson's
has
lost
Olson's
his
having a
tough.
fine season, but Langoliers is really because this season, I mean, there's the strikeout rate is much improved. You know, like the biggest knock on Langoliers as a hitter, it's not such a knock anymore. And now he's just hitting knocks. And I think he's a stud catcher in fantasy.
Also very good to see Tyler Soderstrom figuring it out. It looked like it might have just been an April thing, but now we're getting a little return to form there that is nice to see. It doesn't necessarily mean Tyler Soderstrom is a star, but like his current production is mostly backed up by his underlying numbers, and now it's not just a really good April and not much else. So that's all very good to see from him.
All right, some other hitting leftovers here. Mentioned the Yankees hit 4 home runs in that game. Cody Bellinger hit his 21st. Stanton hit his 11th. 11 homers, 31 RBI in just 41 games for Stanton, man. He has been really good since returning. Kyle Schwarber tacked on another homer, 1 for 4 with his 42nd home run. Bryce Terang remains red hot, his 11th home run. He has 5 homers and 2 steals in 9 August games. Salvador Perez hit his 21st home run. He's been very good for quite some time now. Corbin Carroll hit his 26th homer. He's homered in 4 of his last 5 games, and he's having a pretty big second half. Geraldo Perdomo hit his 12th home run. He also has hit very well in the second half. Just one of the more improbable seasons that I can remember here. 78 RBI are tied for most among shortstops. Geraldo Perdomo, he's tied with Bo Bichette so far this season. Wyatt Langford, 1 for 4 with his 16th home run. Shohei Ohtani is on fire again, hit his 42nd homer. In the second half, he has 10 home runs, 5 steals, and OPS over 1,100. So kind of looks like he's coming for that MVP once again. Junior Caminero.
Caminero! Ha! Ha, Caminero!
Now has 5 home runs in his past 5 games. He is up to 33 on the season. And
I think when he gets to 35, you got to play the full song.
Again?
I think so.
All right. We can make it happen. And Max Muncy has 4 home runs in 7 games since coming off the IL. If you want the updated numbers since getting the glasses, 297 batting average, 16 homers, 59 RBI, and OPS over 1,000. That's since early May there for Max Muncy.
You know, I saw something similar with Tommy Pham, where he got like new contact lenses in mid-June and has actually been pretty good since then. Seeing the ball, important in baseball. Who knew?
Very much so. Yes. Anything else you guys would like to? I went through 12 players there. Anything else you'd like to mention?
I mean, I'm really impressed with Max Muncy. I don't, because he's 34 years old, right? Or is it 35? He's old. He's an old guy, and looked like he had big at 34 still. 35 later this month. He looked like he had really. He was in the waning phase of his career. He was in steep decline and was quickly running out of runway for fantasy. And like he feels like he could keep it going another 2 or 3 years now as a stud third baseman. And it sounds like a funny thing. Oh, he got fitted for glasses, but I mean, like Chris was saying, it's so hard to hit a baseball, much less with any authority, that if your vision is compromised in any way, to me, it's totally understandable that you just fall apart. Frankly, seeing the impact it's had Muncy getting the glasses, it's a wonder to me he was performing as well as he was before then.
Yeah.
Because I mean, trying to pick up the spin of the ball coming in at those velocities when your vision is less than perfect, it just seems like a huge challenge to me, like near impossible. It's already near impossible.
Yeah. No, that's all fair. One pitching left over here. Andrew Abbott took a tough loss against the Phillies, 7 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, 18 whiffs on 104 pitches. Nice bounce back for him after 2 rough starts in a row here. Control had been a big problem lately, but 0 walks here against 6 strikeouts. Anything on Andrew Abbott?
I've been a little surprised at how quickly I've seen some people willing to give up on Andrew Abbott. And I say that as someone who was very skeptical of Andrew Abbott for a long time. I mean, he's not a low 2s ERA pitcher, but I don't think he's someone that you drop after a couple of bad starts either. I generally believe that Andrew Abbott's a must-roster player in fantasy.
Really? Do you actually saw people giving up on him after a couple of shaky starts? It's not like either was an out-and-out disaster.
Well, that's what I was. It wasn't like, he's done. But I've seen some like, I need to see more from Andrew Abbott. It's like I was surprised that like it was just 2 iffy starts. It didn't seem like enough to.
Yeah, especially since the 3 before then were great. Yeah. Especially since he still came out of that latest one with a 2.34 ERA. I guess. Like I think Abbott's good. I think we're still sorting out how good he is. There is a mild inning concern with him because he is now about 15 away from last year's total, which I believe is also a career high. So, 8 or 9 turns, you think 5 innings a turn.
Yeah.
It's going to put him 40, 45 innings still to go. There's a little bit of wiggle room there. I mean, in theory, he should be able to surpass his previous high by about 30 innings, and he's on pace to do that. So it should be fine. It's just the Reds are competing for a playoff spot. If they fall out of the race, because, it's kind of an uphill battle for them to get in the playoffs. If they fall out of that, will they take it easy on Abbott? Something to consider, but it's just it's a pretty distant consideration at this point.
I mean, kind of feels like they should just go 6-man rotation. I know that leaves the bullpen an arm short, but they don't have anybody obvious to take out of the rotation, and they need to manage innings for a bunch of guys anyway. So once Lodolo and Green are back, that feels like that should be the decision.
Call to the bullpen here for the Yankees. I mentioned David Bednar did close it out with a 4-run lead and just kind of feels like the Yankees closer now, 72% rostered on CBS. With the Phillies, Matt Strom and Yohan Duran unavailable. Orion Kerkering got the 9th with a 3-run lead. He struck out 1 for his 3rd save. For the Tigers, Kyle Finnegan entered in the 8th with a man on first. Tie game, retired the next 3 in order. Tigers took the lead in the 9th, and Will Vest came on and struck out 1 for his 17th save of the season.
Was that Vest's first save since the trade?
It might be his 2nd, but I know Finnegan had the last 3 before this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just reacted. Someone in the comments pointed out that Jeffrey Springs was one of my sleeper pitchers for this week also. In fact, he was number 1. He was number 1 on the list. So all the good done by all the others.
Will Vest had not had a save since the first game back from the All-Star break.
I like that Chris didn't care about that at all. That's fine. That's fine. We'll move on to more important things.
Yeah, I saw Jeffrey Springs had a bad start, but it's Jeffrey Springs. He was really good up until then, and yes.
You don't have to beat yourself up, Scott.
People. That's what people like to hear. They like to hear.
Just Scott beating himself up.
Don't ever say you're wrong.
My self-flagellation. They're into that.
For the Royals, Carlos Estevez walked 1 but picked up his 30th save. For the D-backs, somebody named Andrew Hoffman attempted to go for a 2-inning save with a 1-run lead. He retired the 8th in order and then gave up a solo homer in the 9th. The D-backs would wind up losing in extra innings. For the Rangers, Phil Maton got the 10th with the Manfred man at 2nd. Tie game, he retired all 3 in order, and he wound up with the win. For the Padres, Mason Miller in the 8th struck out the side. Robert Suarez in the 9th, clean inning for his 33rd save. For the Angels, Kenley Jansen picked up his 22nd. And for the Rays, Pete Fairbanks picked up his 20th save of the year. To stream or not to stream on Tuesday, we have Jansen Junk at the Guardians, Logan Allen against the Marlins, Matthew Liberatore against the Rockies in St. Louis, Jack Leiter against the D-backs, Emmett Sheehan at the Angels, Nestor Cortez at the Giants, Jacob Lopez home against the Rays.
Given that he was on my sleeper pitchers for the week as a one-start option, I think I got to go Jacob Lopez against the Rays. Not that it isn't without its worries.
Mm-hmm.
He had a rough start against them on June 30th and was with them last year, and they might have a particularly good read on him, but these others are all pretty crummy. So
I don't mind
Lopez.
Nestor Cortez, and then I wouldn't be surprised if either side of the Jansen Junk Logan Allen start went well, but I don't think either pitcher's good, so I don't want to say that with any amount of confidence.
Emmett Sheehan might have like a 5-inning, 7 strikeout start against the Angels. So if you're into that, that's kind of the upside case, but it could happen.
And then on Wednesday, we have Shane Smith against the Tigers, Michael McGreevy against the Rockies in St. Louis, Cam Schlittler against the Twins, Cade Horton at the Blue Jays, and JT Ginn against the Rays.
I don't actually trust Caleb Horton despite the good results lately. He's not getting a lot of strikeouts.
Cade Horton.
Cade Horton. What did I say? Cam?
Caleb
Horton. Who's Cade? That's someone.
I don't know.
Kyle Horton?
Probably an author somewhere.
Michael McGreevy versus Colorado is probably my favorite. I could see Cam Schlittler having a good start against the Twins as well.
I picked up McGreevy in a few deep leagues to stream this week against the Rockies. He pitches to contact. I don't think he has a particularly high ceiling, but against the Rockies, I think it could be fine. Horton's pitching well, but he's also, the pitch counts have been limited lately, and Toronto's pretty tough. So I think I'd probably put McGreevy number 1 for Wednesday.
That's what I said.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't love it.
Just like it'll either be a quality start where he strikes out like 3, or it'll be a disaster.
All right. Team Name Tuesday. Let's wrap things up here. This one is from, these are from Ryan. Rasmussen. Rasmussen?
I don't get that one.
If Chris doesn't get it, none of us get it.
Keep it on the DL.
Sure.
I guess IL now. You bets.
Yep.
Maybe he meant DL Hall.
Could be. ESPN 8, the Otto. Doesn't
Sure.
really work. The Ocho, but Otto Kemp. Something
Don't
like
like
that.
it.
Sally sells quiche by the seashore.
Yep.
Planet Sheehan.
Planet Sheehan?
I don't get that one either.
Obscure references here from Ryan.
Yeah. McGill T as charged.
That's a good one. I get that one.
And Boiling Point.
Yeah.
I like Boyle Boys. It's my favorite Boyle team name. Any Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans out there? Boyle Boys?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it, man. It's a good show. Pretty good. From Amazing Larry, some classic rock-themed ones. Bachman Turner Oberdrive.
Yep.
Electric Light Torchestra.
Absolutely.
Barrios Speedwagon.
Yeah.
And Carlos Santana.
Yeah. That one's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
I get that one.
From Brad, as the resident dad on the podcast, maybe Scott will appreciate some Dr. Seuss-themed team names. Horton Here's a Woo.
Yep.
All right.
Green Eggs and Fam.
Sure, you got the green with the E on the end for Hunter.
How the Grichuk Stole Second.
Yeah, it's a stretch.
Yeah.
And Hap on Pop.
Yeah.
Saying it could be Zach Pop for Pop.
Right.
Yeah.
These are from Shane. Frankly, Scott Towers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got ones like this. And Chris P. Stowers.
I do tower in some rooms, yes. Chris P. Stowers. Yeah, that works too.
All right. And I see you highlight this. Should I not read this one, Chris? I don't know.
I was just trying to figure out what the I recognize the reference, but I wasn't.
I do know this reference.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's from Dan. Shanuel, a first baseman's erotic journey from Milan to Minsk.
This is a Seinfeld reference.
Yes, it was a.
Of course, I would never get it.
A fictional musical, I think, in Seinfeld.
It's just a movie, I think.
Movie?
Rochelle.
Yeah.
I remember that being like one of the Pantheon episodes of Seinfeld, right? That's one of the ones people talk about.
Well, because it had a big guest star in it, I think that helped.
Who was the guest star?
I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it?
I'm not seeing anybody in the cast listing.
Bette
that stands
Midler.
Out.
Bette Midler.
Oh, okay. That's yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Maybe? Okay. Sorry. Yeah. They make a later episode. There's a musical adaptation of it.
Okay.
So there's the movie and then the understudy.
So
the understudy is the one with Bette Midler. You are correct.
Okay.
Never
so
doubt.
Made a couple appearances.
All right, we are going to wrap there for Scott and Chris. I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning in to Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. And we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.